Discover the unstoppable you. Welcome to this enlightening journey where we unveil the power and influence of 7 Stoic habits to stop getting triggered forever. Ever wondered why certain situations or people easily tick you off? Ever imagined a life where you control your reactions rather than being controlled by them? In the battlefield of life, the most formidable weapon is not brute force but mastery over one's emotions. Let's dive deep into these Stoic habits that can transform your life into an impregnable fortress, unshaken by any of life's adversities. Are you ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery and mastery over life's challenges? Join us as we unleash the true warrior within you. Habit 1. Practice mindfulness. Now, this might not be a new term for many of you, but have you ever truly understood its potential? Have you ever truly discovered the power of now? The power of being fully present in this moment? Mindfulness, my dear friends, is not just a trendy buzzword. It is a lifeline to a peaceful and fulfilling existence. In our fast-paced lives, our minds are either dwelling on past regrets or future anxieties. But the reality is, the present is all we have. The past cannot be rewritten, and the future is yet unknown. The only moment we can actually live and influence is the now. When we practice mindfulness, we train our minds to focus on the present moment. We learn to appreciate and experience the now fully. Mindfulness is not about escaping your problems. Rather, it is about facing them with open eyes and a calm mind. When you're mindful, you see your emotions for what they truly are, just temporary states. You acknowledge them, but you don't let them overpower you. You notice your triggers, but do not get entangled in them. But how do you cultivate mindfulness? Start with small steps. Take a few minutes each day to just be in the moment. Notice your breath, feel the wind against your skin, hear the birds chirping in the distance. Be fully aware of your surroundings, your thoughts, your emotions, without judging them or trying to change them. Mindfulness also extends to your daily activities. When you eat, focus on the taste of your food. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. When you listen to another person, give them your undivided attention. With time and practice, mindfulness will become a part of your very existence. The key thing to remember is that mindfulness is not about achieving a state of eternal happiness or bliss. It is about accepting and experiencing all emotions, be it joy, sadness, anger, or fear, without getting swayed by them. It is about finding peace amidst the chaos. So, what are you waiting for? Embrace the now. Unleash the power of mindfulness and witness how it transforms your life. And remember, the journey of mindfulness is not a destination but a path, a continuous process of self-discovery and growth. So, let's walk this path together and create a life of tranquility and fulfillment. Let's claim our power over triggers and create a life of peace and equipoise. The power lies within you. Let's discover it together, starting here and now. Habit 2. Reflect on your triggers. Now this might sound simple, but let me assure you, it is one of the most complex and rewarding habits you can instill in your life. We all have our triggers, those situations, words, or actions that immediately send us into a state of anger, frustration, or distress. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself why? Why does a certain comment make you feel undervalued? Why does a particular situation make you feel anxious? The why is what we need to focus on. Underneath every trigger is a root cause, an underlying belief or fear that is being challenged. The trigger is merely the surface-level reaction. The real issue lies beneath. Therefore, in order to stop being triggered, we must dive deep within ourselves, pull out these roots, and examine them closely. Now, how do we do this? The answer is through reflection. Each time you're triggered, instead of reacting impulsively, take a moment to step back. Observe your feelings, acknowledge them, but don't let them dictate your actions. Then, Once you're in a calmer state, reflect on what triggered you. You might find that the root cause of your trigger is a deeply ingrained belief about yourself or the world around you. You may realize that your trigger is connected to a past event that you haven't fully processed yet. Or perhaps, your trigger is linked to an insecurity that you've been trying to hide. The process of reflection is not always easy. It requires courage, honesty, and patience. It calls for you to confront parts of yourself that you might prefer to ignore. But, let me assure you, the effort is worth it. Because once you understand your triggers, you will be able to respond to them in a healthier way. By reflecting on your triggers, you're not just reacting, you're acting. You're taking control of your life. You're choosing peace over chaos, understanding over confusion, love over fear. So, let's embark on this journey of self-reflection together. Let's arm ourselves with the knowledge of our triggers and use this knowledge to fuel our growth. Let's turn our triggers from enemies into allies, from obstacles into stepping stones. Let's claim our power over our triggers and strive for a life of tranquility and fulfillment. The power lies within you. Let's discover it together, starting here and now. Habit 3. Cultivate acceptance. After understanding and reflecting on our triggers, the next step involves acceptance. This step is not about resigning ourselves to a life filled with triggers, but rather about accepting that triggers will occur. Acceptance is a key principle in Stoicism. The Stoics believed that we should aim to control what we can and accept what we cannot. In life, there are many things out of our control: the weather, traffic, other people's opinions. The same applies to triggers. Despite our best efforts, there will be times when something or someone triggers us. It's crucial to understand that accepting your triggers doesn't mean you're approving of them. Acceptance isn't about saying, "It's okay for these things to anger or upset me." Rather, it's about acknowledging that these things exist. They can potentially trigger you, but they do not have to control you. Now, you may ask, how can I practice acceptance? The answer is simple: by changing your perspective. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. You can't change the situation, but you can change your response to it. Instead of letting it trigger your frustration, you can accept it as a part of life and use that time to listen to an audiobook or simply enjoy the moment of silence. Similarly, when confronted with a trigger, we can choose to view it as an opportunity for growth. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can accept the occurrence of the trigger and use it as a chance to practice patience, resilience, and compassion. Remember, acceptance is not a one-time achievement. It's an ongoing process, a habit that needs to be cultivated daily. It requires practice, patience, and perseverance. But, when mastered, it can transform your life. It can liberate you from the chains of reactivity and empower you with the freedom of choice. So, let's strive to cultivate acceptance. Let's learn to embrace life's ups and downs, its twists and turns. Let's learn to accept our triggers, not as hindrances, but as catalysts for growth. In this journey of acceptance, we're not merely surviving, we're thriving. We're not just dealing with triggers, we're mastering them. And, in doing so, we're one step closer to a life of peace and fulfillment. Remember, the power lies in you. Let's unleash it, starting here and now. Habit 4. Practice emotional resilience. Just as we cultivate acceptance, we must also cultivate emotional resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity and not let our triggers get the best of us. Emotional resilience is like an inner shield, protecting us from the impact of negative events or circumstances. It equips us with the ability to navigate through life's storms without losing our inner peace. Just as a tree bends, but doesn't break in a storm, a person who has developed emotional resilience can withstand life's trials without breaking down. Now, you might wonder, how can I build this emotional resilience? The starting point is self-awareness. Knowing yourself. Understanding your feelings and acknowledging your reactions to different situations is the cornerstone of emotional resilience. It's about gaining insight into your strengths and weaknesses and learning ways to leverage your strengths and improve your weaknesses. Next, let's focus on positive thinking. Resilient people aren't immune to negative thoughts. They just don't let those thoughts control them. They understand that thoughts are just thoughts, not facts. They focus on solutions, not problems. They see failures as opportunities to learn and grow. Another key to building emotional resilience is self-care. Taking care of your physical health, emotional well-being, and mental health is as important as taking care of your financial health. Regular exercise, balanced diet, enough sleep, meditation, and hobbies. These aren't luxuries, they're necessities. They not only keep you fit and healthy, but also help you handle stress better. Finally, building emotional resilience involves connecting with others. Strong relationships and social support can act as a buffer against stress and adversity. When you connect with others, you learn from their experiences, gain different perspectives, and develop empathy and understanding. Remember, just like any other skill or habit, developing emotional resilience takes time and practice. But the rewards are well worth the effort. As you build emotional resilience, you'll find yourself becoming more calm, confident, and content, no matter what life throws at you. To sum up, let's strive to practice emotional resilience. Let's embrace our feelings without letting them define us. Let's focus on the positives, even in the face of adversity. Let's take care of ourselves, inside and out. And let's connect with others, learn from them, and grow together. And before we end this, if you're finding value in these talks, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let's embark on this journey of personal growth together, one habit at a time. Habit 5. Use negative visualization. This may sound counterintuitive, as we often hear about the power of positive thinking. However, in the realm of Stoicism, negative visualization is a pivotal practice that can help us build emotional resilience and mitigate the effect of our triggers. Negative visualization is the act of envisioning the worst-case scenarios. It's about contemplating what could potentially go wrong in any given situation. The goal is not to dwell on the negative or expect the worst, but rather to prepare ourselves for any possible outcome. It is a form of mental preparedness that allows us to cope with unexpected events more effectively. Imagine for a moment that you have a significant presentation to deliver. Instead of solely envisioning a standing ovation, you also consider scenarios where you may stumble, forget a speaking point, or face tough questions. This kind of visualization allows you to come up with a plan B or even a plan C. It's a way of equipping ourselves with various tools to handle different outcomes. Now, you might question, wouldn't this make me anxious or paranoid? Here's the thing. Negative visualization isn't about anxiety or paranoia. It's about preparation and acceptance. It's about accepting the fact that life isn't always rosy, that things won't always go according to our plans. When we practice negative visualization, something interesting happens. We start to realize that even if our worst fears come true, we'll be okay. We learn to detach from the outcome and focus on the process, which is within our control. We learn to put things in perspective, understanding that even in the face of adversity, there are always lessons to be learned and strengths to be developed. In fact, negative visualization can ultimately lead to positive outcomes. By preparing for the worst, we often end up performing at our best. We become more resilient, more adaptable, and more grounded. As a result, our triggers lose their power over us. They no longer control us. Instead, we control our response to them. In conclusion, let's use negative visualization as a tool for strength and growth. Let's prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. Let's accept that things won't always go our way, but no matter what happens, we have the resilience to cope, learn, and grow. And folks, If you haven't done so yet, please do hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned for more empowering habits and strategies to live life to the fullest. Let's keep learning and growing together. Habit 6. Implement Stoic Meditations. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a practice. It's about discipline, self-control, and consistency. And one of the most powerful tools employed by Stoics is meditation. Now, when we say Stoic Meditations, we're not talking about sitting cross-legged on a cushion and chanting mantras. Stoic meditation is about reflection, mindfulness, and clarity of thought. It's about spending time with your thoughts, understanding them, and learning how to control them, rather than letting them control you. Stoic meditation typically involves deep thought and introspection. It's about examining your actions, thoughts, and feelings critically. It's about understanding why you behave the way you do, what triggers you, and how you can change your reactions to these triggers. For instance, let's say you're bothered by certain comments people make about you. Instead of reacting instantly, you take a moment for reflection. You ask yourself, why does this comment bother me? What insecurities does it tap into? How can I deal with this in a more positive and constructive way? By doing this, you're not only avoiding potential conflict, but you're also developing a deeper understanding of yourself and your triggers. The beauty of Stoic meditation is that it can be practiced anywhere, anytime. You don't need a quiet room or a specific posture. All you need is a moment of stillness, whether it be during your daily commute, before you go to bed, or even amidst the chaos of a stressful day. Over time, practicing Stoic meditation can yield incredible results. It can help you maintain composure in the face of adversity, make more rational decisions, and ultimately achieve a sense of peace and contentment. It's about learning to control your mind, rather than letting it control you. In conclusion, let's make a habit of practicing Stoic meditations. Let's train ourselves to be mindful, introspective, and composed. Remember, the power to control our reactions lies within us. It's not about what happens to us, but how we respond to what happens to us. That, my friends, is the true power of Stoicism. And remember, if you haven't done so yet, please hit the subscribe button. Let's continue this journey of learning and growth together. Stay tuned for our next session, where we'll dive into the next powerful habit of Stoicism. Until then, stay strong, stay resilient, and stay stoic. Habit 7. Embrace Impermanence. The Stoics understood the world to be in a constant state of flux, that everything, including ourselves, is impermanent. Life is always changing, and nothing remains constant. This is a fundamental concept in Stoicism that can help us manage our triggers effectively. So, what does it mean to embrace impermanence? It means understanding and accepting that everything in life is temporary. Our joys, sorrows, triumphs, failures, and even our triggers are all fleeting. They come and go, ebb and flow, just like the tides of the sea. Embracing impermanence provides us with perspective. It helps us realize that the things that trigger us today may not matter tomorrow, next week, or next year. A remark that upsets you, a failure that seems huge, a situation that seems insurmountable, all these are temporary. This understanding can provide immense relief and can help us better manage our emotional responses to triggers. Furthermore, the concept of impermanence isn't just about understanding that bad times will pass. It's also about appreciating the good times while they last. It reminds us to be grateful for the present moment, to cherish our successes, to love deeply, and to live fully because these moments are fleeting. But how can we cultivate this habit of embracing impermanence? It begins with mindfulness. By being fully present in the moment, we can appreciate the beauty and the transience of life. It also involves reflection. By reflecting on our past experiences, we can see how situations that seemed significant at the time have faded into insignificance, reinforcing the transient nature of life. So, to conclude, let's embrace impermanence. Let's understand that life is a series of changing seasons, each with its own joys and challenges. Let's learn from the past, prepare for the future, but live in the present, knowing that each moment is precious and fleeting. Remember, the world is in constant flux, but our response to it is within our control. So, let's take control. Let's be present. Let's be stoic, and let's embrace impermanence. In our next session, we will dive further into the practice of Stoicism and its powerful principles. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated. Until then, stay resilient, stay reflective, and stay stoic.